Hello, Anthrax fans, heavy metal fans, thrash metal fans, 1980s metal band fans. I'm going to be doing a ranking of all 11 Anthrax albums. Anthrax, they're part of the Big Four alongside Metallica, Megadeth, and Slayer. This is going to be my own personal ranking. Okay, my own personal ranking right now at number 11. I am going to put I'm gonna put one of the John Bush albums in 11th place. I'll put The Sound of White Noise. Now, this order right here that I'm going to put, these last four, the bottom four, they're going to be all John Bush albums because basically I'm just personally not a fan of John Bush's vocals at all. To be honest, it's just his vocals style, it sounds like Alice in Chains, and I don't like Alice in Chains at all, and it's just because the vocals just really don't sound good to me at all, personally. Basically, it's just like grunge style, and I don't like it. Like grunge style vocals, I don't like it. It's the same thing with Godsmack. Yeah, it's like, yeah, Godsmack, they're a heavy metal band and stuff, and they might have some thrash elements there, but it's like, with the exception of maybe the song I Stand Alone, it's like, I can't take it. It just sounds so terrible to me that it literally almost makes me hate rock and metal, almost all of it, if I listen to a song from like one of those bands like Alice in Chains or Godsmack, where it's like I have to it's like all of a sudden I hear one of those songs, with the exception of maybe I Stand Alone, and then I hear like any other metal or rock song from any band like that I normally really like, and it sounds terrible to me, and I'm like, the only way I can like all of a sudden like remind myself that, okay, like I actually do like rock and metal, is if I listen to like Metallica's Enter Sandman and Sad But True back to back, and I'm like, okay, I like metal and hard rock. Again, it's like, because like that's how bad grunge style vocals sound to me. That's how bad it sounds. Some people might think, I think I'd rather listen to opera than listen to grunge. That's how bad it sounds to me, and I don't care for opera at all because I think at least that wouldn't ruin rock or metal for me. But so basically the reason why I put Sound of White Noise in 11th is because, I don't know, there's this one song on there. I don't remember what the song is, but it has like this messed up lyric. It's just too messed up for me. I don't like. So it's just like, that's what puts it at the bottom of the barrel for me. The next one, I'll just put, I guess, Stomp 442. I'll put in 10th. I'll put Stomp 442. That one there, I don't really care for it that much. And then I'll put, I guess, Volume 8, The Threat Is Real. That one, none of these could go in any order. All four of them just sound bad to me. It's just the vocals for the most part. But in some ways, this one here, like, I've listened to the songs and I've listened to all their original songs, like, off their studio albums. This one here, the songs don't sound that bad. It's just like, I don't know if I can say they sound special is all, I guess. And then I guess I'll put in what would be, so that would be 9th place, would be Volume 8, The Threat Is Real. So ninth place would be Volume 8, The Threat Is Real. Then 8th place, I'll put We've Come For You All in 8th. I'll put We've Come For You All from 2003. That was the last John Bush album. First one and only one in the 2000s to ever be released, because they had an 8-year gap in between 2003's We've Come For You All and 2011's titled album, titled Worship Music, is the title of the album. I don't really like the title. I don't even really like saying it that much. But yeah, that's the title. I'm really on the outside of my nose, sorry. So I put that one there because if I can remember correctly, I think maybe I thought some of the songs were kind of good on there. I've really only listened to each one of those albums once, and I don't really want to listen to them again. It's just the vocals are just not great to me. Okay, now we're getting to the stuff that I actually like, and my top 7. I'm just gonna call it my top 7 because like each one of these albums has a lot of good songs on here, and there's not like one song in here where I'm like, okay, I can't listen to this at all. I have to skip it every single time I listen to this, or almost every single time I listen to this. It's like it's really good and listenable. And honestly, like I was like splitting hairs with this whole 7 pretty much for the most part, with the exception of number 1. Exception of my number 1 favorite for the most part, or maybe number 1 and 2 favorites, something like that, because they're just also good. So number 7, I'm gonna put. Some people might wonder why do you have this one so low, but basically it's only by like a hair do I have this at number 7 instead of number 6, 5, 4, 3, or 2, or even 1. That because that's how much I like this album, and that is this album, the 2011 album titled Worship Music. That's the front cover. This is the back cover. See the titles of the songs there. Now, the one Worship, that's actually an intro track. It really isn't much of anything. It goes on for like a few seconds, and it's saying worship music a bunch of times. Like it's a bunch of people whispering. It's kind of weird. It's almost like people questioning or something. It's kind of weird. I'm a born-again Christian. I personally believe that you should only worship Jesus Christ, the one and true living Almighty God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob of Nazareth, described in the Word of God, the Bible. So I believe so. That's what I personally believe. If you believe differently than me, that's absolutely fine with me personally. I believe this is America, where I'm from, and land of the free, home of the brave, and I believe anybody should be able to worship, believe, whatever the heck they want. So I guess you can guess I'm not crazy about the Anthrax logo because it basically looks like a pentagram, and I think that looks stupid in a way. I wish I like the Anthrax A in the middle. I just wish they'd get rid of this stupid arrow. This arrow that I'm sorry, it's just I think it looks stupid. The fact that it's basically a pentagram. Get rid of this. Get rid of the arrow. Maybe put like a guitar or something there instead. Put like a guitar up here, and then put maybe some drumsticks somewhere around here. Then put maybe like a bass somewhere on here and a mic somewhere, and turn this into basically a drum or a cymbal from a drum set, and that would be great. And with this cover, I can't really tell if they're supposed to be zombies. If they're supposed to be zombies, and this is pretty appropriate for the most part. Although it's still kind of weird, though. I kind of wish they would have done something different here with the cover a little bit. And then this right here, it's kind of weird. It looks like it's supposed to be the hands of God, and the way I like to look at it is it's as if they're saying God's an Anthrax fan. I guess. I don't know. I mean, you might be... I mean, God made the people in the band Anthrax and gave them the talent to play, so I'm sure he's glad they're using their talent. I'm sure he probably wouldn't like that logo very much. I don't know. Anyway, so the rest of the tracks, Earth on Hell, that's a great one. The Devil You Know, that's great. Fight 'Em Till You Can't, that one makes me kind of think of Only Am I Wrong by Metallica, because it's about zombies. It starts out, it's like something like it's like emergency alert system, and it's like the bodies of the dead are currently rising from their graves and attacking the living, and it's like it goes like fight 'em till you can't fight no more. And that's a good one. I'm Alive, In the End, The Giant, Judas Priest. That's I think that's supposed to be a tribute to the band Judas Priest. I'm pretty sure they're pretty inspired by them guys. And that's a great song. And then Crawl. Um, this is where I start to have a problem with the album a little bit, and I can't remember for sure. I think it's on Crawl, or maybe it's The Constant or the beginning of Revolution Screams, where the vocals kind of remind me a bit of John Bush style, which is why I have this whoa, because it's kind of like, I don't like that a little bit, just in the style that Joey Belladonna was going for. I don't know, maybe he just hadn't sung a new song in a while, and maybe he was a little rusty. I don't know. But other than that, it's a good song. The Constant, good song. Revolution Screams, that's a great song. And on this particular version, after Revolution Screams, it goes blank for about until it gets to, I think it's like 10 minutes or 11 minutes or so or something like that. And then you get a hidden track, and it's a cover of this song. I'm trying to remember, what is it called now? It's on Tony Hawk's Underground. The original version, I believe, is on Tony Hawk's Underground. That video game, excellent video game, in my opinion. Classic from 2003. I'm trying to remember what the song is called, but it's a great song. And they do a very good cover of it. In some ways, this version you might say is better because I can understand what the lyrics are, what he's saying a bit better than on the version on Tony Hawk Underground from 2003. Great video game, again. But in some ways, I think I like the original a little bit more just because the original and or I heard it first. And, this is the spine right here. I guess I'll show you the inside here, the cover. It's kind of cool, the cover art here. Yeah, there you see, what's his name? Charlie Benante, the drummer. Honestly, I think he's aged pretty well the past nearly 40 years, to be honest. Same thing with Scott Ian. Joey Belladonna, he literally just turned 60. I think he's aged great. And then, I forget who these guys are. I think one of them might be Dan Spitz. And then the other guy, I can't remember. If you want to see the disc. Alright, this is what the disc looks like. See if I can get it in the right position here. I'm trying to see if I can find the right. I believe it's supposed to be positioned like this. See, if you look, it's kind of like the Anthrax A. It's because it's broken in the middle. It's kind of strange. Yeah, this came out in 2011 by Megaforce Records. They've pretty much been with Megaforce Records since the beginning of the band. I messed up when I was folding this back. Okay. This one here, the next one, people are going to be like, why is this one so low, probably? But this is my personal favorite, and my personal favorites, my personal ranking. And this, I could actually even argue and say that I could have this higher or something. I was splitting hairs. I'm like, which songs do I like better? Okay, I like some of these songs better. And it's like, okay, which quality do I like better? And it's like, okay. Among the Living, 1987. This is great. You got Among the Living. I'm not walking dude. Among the living. Spreading a disease. Thankfully, it's not coronavirus they're talking about. Yeah. It's, okay, if anybody's passed away from coronavirus here that's listening to this, really sorry for your loss. I know what it's like to lose somebody. I didn't lose anybody from coronavirus, but I lost my mom of stomach and liver cancer back on February 5th of 2019. And she had battled that for about a year, so I know what that's like. And I also lost my father when I was 13 years old, about 14 years ago, on August 6th of 2006. He died of congestive heart failure and cirrhosis of the liver. So it's like he was on oxygen the last month of his life. My mom, the last couple months of her life, she was in a nursing home, and she needed help with almost everything, and she had gotten deadly thin, and it was it wasn't the same seeing her the past like few months. Yeah, and so sorry about that. And like it's I'll be honest, this pandemic, it's been pretty tough, and been tough for everybody. I think it tough on me in some ways. Then you get Caught in a Mosh. Oh, Caught in a Mosh. That one's great. That's just a fun jam. I Am the Law, which is about the fictional comic book character who's kind of like a villain. I'm pretty sure. I don't know much about Judge Dredd, but I'm pretty sure he's like a villain. I am the law, and that was like his phrase or something. It's like something. I am the law. That one's good. And then NFL. I'm just gonna say that's a good one. It's for nice life, basically. I'm just gonna say a skeleton in the closet. Many skeletons hiding in the closet. Skeletons in the closet. That's a good one. Indians. Cry, cry, cry for the Indians. Cry, cry, die for the Indians. That's a good one. One world, welcome to it. One world, don't abuse it. And then ADI, horror of it all. Imitation of Life. On there. Produced by Eddie Kramer and Anthrax for Remarkable Productions. Executive producer John Zazula. Oh, and I'm not really sure who produced their 2011 album. On to the next one. This one's State of Euphoria. I love this one. But like the first time I ever heard this one, I wasn't that into it. Really, I mainly liked Antisocial, which is a great song, which is not an original, it's a cover. But, listen to that one, but then after a while, I started listening to this one more and more, and it was just like, you know what, I really like this one. It's really good. It's just a lot of good jams on here. But, like, it's one that, like, the first time you hear it, you might be like, this one's not that good. But then, like, all of a sudden, the more you listen to it, it's like the more you like it. It's like, like, you get a t-shirt for, like, Christmas, and, like, it might be, like, maybe kind of basic or something, like, I had this old t-shirt. It was a 007 t-shirt and just had 007 and it had like a silhouette of James Bond and it was like gray or something. It was really basic and at first I wasn't that crazy. I was like, I don't really go for this one. But then after a while, I started to really like it and it became like one of my favorite shirts. So it's kind of like that. It's like, certain albums can kind of grow on you. Like certain albums, certain movies, t-shirts, anything. Something like that. And then they get, like, Be All End All. That's their first song in here. Out of Sight, Out of Mind. Make Me Laugh. That one there, it's about, like televangelism. There was some televangelists that were kind of, I don't want to get into that. Nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes. Let's just say that. I don't want to get into it. Then Who Cares Wins. That's a good one. Now It's Dark. And then Schism. Schism. A house divided can't stand. Schism. That's a good one. That means division. That's a great song. That right there, that's actually like a quote from Abraham Lincoln, who also like who actually quoted from the Bible, where it actually says the Bible version, the real version is, I believe it's, a house divided against itself cannot stand. It's basically like, kind of like that, what they're trying to say, and it's kind of true. And then Misery Loves Company. Then 13, that's a really short interlude where it sounds like they're just kind of messing around in the studio or something, like laughing or something and stuff. And there's Finale, spelled finale, but it's actually pronounced finally. And it's the last song on there. See how it's pronounced? And they have like a line above the E for some reason. Yeah, and this one here was produced by Anthrax and Mark Dodson, engineered by Alex Perialis there. Yeah. And then this one here. Okay, so let me see. 7, 6, 5. Okay, now this is top 4. Now this one, this is their debut album, Fistful of Metal from 1984. This one here, I think the cover looks pretty cool. It looks like it's like some guy is getting like punched in the face, and like I heard it's like 2 right hands or something. The only thing I don't like about their logo is the X, the way it's positioned. It looks like an upside down cross, so it looks kind of stupid to me personally. I mean, if you think differently, that's fine. I mean, like sometimes you might have noticed if you look carefully, at the last one, it looked kind of funny, like it was shortened. I actually did that on purpose because I sometimes just hate seeing in the corner of my eye in my car, like seeing looks like an upside down cross. I just hate looking at it. So sometimes with its position, so I sometimes will like shorten it on purpose just for myself, just because I'm just like, it looks, and then I'm like, now it looks perfect with it shortened. Like, I wish it was like shortened like that, then I would say like this would be a perfect logo for them, in my opinion. Yeah, and this one here, this album is great. It's very much like Kill 'Em All by Metallica, their first album, in terms of the sound quality and stuff. It's produced by John Zazula, who also produced the first Metallica album, as far as I can remember. And then Carl Kennedy. Then CD preparation by Ed Trunk. CD mastering, Alex Perialis. And design by Mark Weinberg. I hope I'm saying that right. This is from 1984, but I think it didn't get a commercial release until 1992 for some weird reason. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, and then like the inside, it doesn't have the lyrics at all. Yeah, like it doesn't have the lyrics at all. It just says some stuff, and just says like some special thanks and stuff, and there. It's cool though. I've been listening to this a lot the past, like I just like really discovered Anthrax a little over a year ago, basically. And in terms of like all their stuff, like I started discovering this one here. I just picked up. This one here is super hard to find. This one here, I literally had to order this on the internet because like I couldn't find it like anywhere else. And like pick it up at this CD store that I like to go to. That yeah, I buy CDs. I'm 27 years old, but I actually buy CDs. I actually don't own an iPhone or an iPod or an MP3 player. Yeah. And then the next one here, a lot of people will definitely see why this is top 3 material, and a lot of people would have this in the top 3 or 4. This one here, this is another great one. This is another very good one. Spreading the Disease, 1985. Their second album. Their first album with Joey Belladonna, but their second album, I think this is the first one that really went commercial. AIR, Lone Justice. It's a madhouse, I'm insane. It's a madhouse, I'm insane. Something. SSC, Standerfall, The Enemy, Aftershock. Armed and Dangerous, Medusa, Gung-Ho. One of the songs in here, when I'm listening to it, it's like, something behind me. It reminds me of this other song from like, it might have been in the 80s. But I like this song way better. I'm trying to remember let me see if I can just take a look at the lyrics for a second. See if I can find what song it is that I'm talking about real quick. Let's see. Oh, it's Madhouse. That's the one I'm talking about. It's like white coats to bind me, out of control. I live alone inside my mind. World of confusion. Air filled with noise. Who says that my life's such a crime? Trapped in this nightmare. I wish I'd wake. That one there, it reminds me of the song But I'm not sure what band it is, but it goes, it's like, something home with me, and it's like, come on, baby. I don't remember what the song is, but I know, I think it's been on the radio. I like Madhouse 10 times more. It's just, I don't know, maybe I just like Anthrax better, or I just like the song better. I think it's better. It sounds just better. The vocals on this are really, really good. It kind of reminds me of, I don't know, maybe a little bit of this band called Archangels that I think they only released like a couple of albums, and it's similar to that, as well as maybe, yeah, like a little bit like that, and maybe even like a little bit of like, I remember there was this old song, I don't remember what band it is, but it goes like, you're as cold as ice, as cold as ice, oh yeah. The vocals, it reminds me of that, and I think that song's great. Yeah, and this cover, it's pretty cool. It's like he's getting operated on or something, and like gas masks or something, kind of like how we're all wearing masks outside these days. It's kind of, and this one here is my second favorite that I'm about to say right now. Oh, and that one was produced by Carl Kennedy and Anthrax executive producer John Zazula. 1985. Now, you can probably guess like what's my top two now. Okay, now this is my second favorite here. Persistence of Time, 1990. The first one in the 1990s that they did. This is the last one with Joey Belladonna before he appeared on another album of theirs 21 years later in 2011. This was definitely a good album of his to go out. This was a good album to go out on. This one here, Time, Blood, Keep It in the Family, In My World, Gridwalk, Intro to Reality. That one's basically an interlude or a short instrumental, and then it goes right into Belly of the Beast. Got the Time, Hate Red, which is pronounced Hatred, One Man Stands, Discharge, Keep It in the Family. In a way, this is kind of my favorite song on here. I just have a problem with a couple of the lyrics. I wish they would have rephrased it a little bit, because they say a couple of major, like, really bad racial, ethnic, anti-Semitic slurs. And I'm gonna censor myself. I'm gonna say something different, and I think you'll be able to understand exactly what words I'm saying here. Like, when I'm singing the song, like, in my car, I always like to say instead, like, because I hate the two lyrics, because it's just that messed up. I like to change it a little bit so it'll make sense. Like, because, I mean, like, and I think they seriously could have done this, because they're kind of known for humor at the time, so, and I think people would have gotten it. What I like to say instead is, to me, blacks are nice and Jews are kind. To me, blacks are nice and Jews are kind. You see what I did there? Positive N word and positive K word, meaning positive word that starts with N, positive word that starts with K. So I don't, because, like, I don't have a problem with anybody who's black or Jewish. I'm a born again Christian. God says to love the Lord your God with all thine heart and soul, and love thy neighbor as yourself. So, yeah. And racism's stupid. It sucks. It has to do with racism, something to do with, like, race riots that were happening in, like, the late 80s or something, and possibly something to do with, like, maybe the guy talking in it, maybe one of his parents were racist or something. How they got away with the two racial, ethnic slurs, anti-Semitic slurs, basically is because, well, Scott Ian, their lead guitarist, he's Jewish, so I know that's how they get away with that one. And at the time, they were working with Public Enemy, and they're all black, so I know they're not racist, because they're working with them, and they were actually, like, working with them on Bring the Noise. They were about to work with them on that, and they were in the recording studio at the time, of the recording sessions for this album, Persistence of Time, by Anthrax, to work on Bring the Noise. So I'm thinking Public Enemy must have given permission to use the word in the song. That's my best educated guess. To be honest, the first many times I had heard that song, Keep It in the Family, I had no idea they were saying a racial slur and anti-Semitic slur. I had no idea. I heard it, the first time I heard it, it was off of, first many times I heard it, it was off of this compilation album from Anthrax called Anthrax Madhouse, no, it was Madhouse, the Very Best of Anthrax. And it had mostly like a lot of their best early material, and a lot of their best early material that they had on it was songs like Keep It in the Family, In My World. I think it had Belly of the Beast. It might have had some other songs in here, and I really like this batch of songs as they're like the best of their early stuff for the most part, so that's why I have this in second place. I wish they would like have like, I know they did like a 30-year anniversary album version of this where some lyrics were different on some songs. As far as I know, I don't think they changed the lyrics at all to Keep It in the Family, which I think is kind of a shame. Especially in this time zone we're living in, I would have changed those lyrics to exactly the ones that I censor in my car. And that would be perfect in my opinion. And then people would be like, oh, okay, I see what they did there. Or something. They wanted to be nice. You know? Say nice and kind to everybody. And then my favorite, some people might be a little shocked because this is their latest one. And I could argue that I could put like even like Fistful of Metal over this in a way just because of how listenable I feel that is. But to me, I like this one here, For All Kings, the best in my personal opinion. This is the front cover, uncovered here. Like, again, like the Pentathrax logo they call it, the pentagram logo. I mean, I like the colors in a way that they use and stuff, and I kind of like the idea of like having the band members on the cover and having this big crowd. What I would have done is instead make this a giant drum, kind of like what I was saying, put like some drumsticks around or something, and like what I would do is, I like the 4 band members in there, but instead what I would do is I would like have them on like a stage, and like have Scotty Ian playing guitar, have Joe Belladonna with a mic in his hand singing, have Charlie Benante on the drums, and have the other 2 guys on bass and second lead guitar or whatever. Then like have all these guys in the crowd pretty much maybe shaking their fists in the air instead, going like, yeah, rock, this rocks, you guys rock, guys, or whatever instead, or something. But keep pretty much all the colors the same for the most part. I think I would prefer, instead of like red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, I would prefer instead maybe get rid of the red, get rid of the orange, and like put in like and get rid of the red, get rid of the orange, and put in like couple of other colors, like put in like pink, and put in maybe another green, like neon green, or like a sky blue or something. That's what I would say. And then here's the back cover. I think the back cover looks pretty cool. It shows what the band looks like now. I think they've aged very well. Again, like this, I mean, this is like for about almost 5 years ago, because this was released, I believe it was back in February of 2016. It's a cool cover. It looks like, I think that might be the goal. I'm not sure. Oh, wait, these guys are from New York, so that has to be the Brooklyn Bridge in New York. Yeah, that's Scott Ian right there. He's the guy who's Jewish, and I think he's got an Indian background, I think, or Native American, whichever you prefer. Not trying to offend anybody, but okay, if you're offended by Indian, sorry. It just, the term Indian, I don't mean anything negative by it. When I say Indian, I don't mean anything mocking. I just mean synonym for Native American. That's it. And this right here, I think it's really cool how they did this with the lyrics. Instead of that being a lyric booklet, they put all the lyrics here on the inside. It's like, oh, that's a good use of paper right there. Oh, that's pretty good. And like, I kind of wish like these last two albums, the way they would have done the disc casing, instead of putting it in this kind of sleeve like this, because like it can be kind of hard to get out, and like, I mean, like, I think this might have some scratches on it. I don't know if you can see it on camera. This one here, very basic. It's almost like looking at their first album. It's basically just a logo, and there's the Anthrax logo again, or something. What I would do, well, the only problem I have with this logo is the fact that the X basically looks like an upside down cross. I would shorten it at the top, make it even with the other part, the other side of the X, and it would be freaking perfect, in my opinion. And that would be the perfect Anthrax logo, in my opinion, for the band. This one here, let me see if I can see who it was produced by. Hold on a second. There we go. I had something up with my screen. Let me see, where does this say it was produced by? Oh yeah, Anthrax. Joey Belladonna, vocals. His vocals have aged greatly. He sounds absolutely fine on this. I don't know if I'd say better than he did in the 80s, but just as good, maybe in just as good as he did back in the 1980s to 1990 or 91. Scott Ian, guitar, backing vocals. John Danaeus, guitar. Frank Bello, bass, backing vocals. Charlie Benante, drums. And an acoustic and electric guitar. I'm trying to find, where's this? Oh, produced by Jay. It's either Rustin or Roostin. And Anthrax, mixed by Jay Roostin or Rustin. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Ruston. It's spelled at TRS West, Sherman Oaks, California. Mastered by Paul Logus for PLX Mastering NYC. I believe that's New York. Basically, why I have this one in first is because, to me, it just sounds like the heaviest of their albums. Like, it sounds the most metal. I mean, Scott Ian even said that about this album, he described it as it's Anthrax, both extra metal, and that's like spot on, because it sounds like typical Anthrax, but it sounds more metal. It sounds heavier, stronger. Is it the absolute fastest album? I wouldn't say maybe it's their fastest album. In a way, I'd say their fastest album is probably their first album from 1984. And then they got maybe slightly slower, but like always had like fast tracks. The first song, well, actually, it starts off with like an intro track again. I don't remember what it's called, but it's like it sounds, it's like kind of like they're at a show, like a live show. I got this backwards. It sounds like they're at a live show and they're about to play, and it's like it's like they're tuning up their instruments, and then like it switches and so it's like down. It's like it's like, all right, get right into it. It's like and it's just flipping great. My opinion, it's just like, and it goes like, you can give me what I want, I'm gonna get it, viciously relentless, impaled, just a bag of blood and I'm holding the nail, gotta believe in me, in me. Sounds freaking great, and then it just goes, monster at the end, for all kings committed, and then breathing lightning, suzerain, evil twin. That one's great. I had talked about this on my review of this album like about a year ago, so I might not say much more about this. And blood eagle wings, defend, avenge, all of them thieves. This battle chose us, zero tolerance. That's a great ender. This is just a solid album. The first full-length true album of theirs I picked up, if I'm remembering correctly, I'm pretty sure it was Persistence of Time. Yeah, that's 2016. I heard something about, like, they might be making, like, another Anthrax album. Like, they're, like, working on one this year in 2020. And they still sound great. Like, I saw a video on their channel, their YouTube channel, where they're doing, like, a live version of a song. It was one of their first songs they did. Which song was it? Let me see if I can see. It was a live version of, I think it was Gung Ho, and it was like a quarantine version because, like, a lot of people like in quarantine and stuff right now as this is being filmed. Like, if you're watching this and it's, say, 2030 or something and you're wondering, what is this guy talking about quarantine and stuff? Well, I'm filming this while we're in a global pandemic known as the COVID-19 coronavirus crisis pandemic of 2020, and it's not fun. It's not great. There's a lot of, like, you can't even go and eat inside, like, a fast food joint really at all. There's a few here and there you can, but for the most part, drive-through only. I personally gotten used to it. I've been eating in my car whenever I go to a drive-through most of the time, and I've gotten used to it. At first, it was kind of like, ugh. Then I'm like, you know what? Because, like, I don't want to wait like 20 minutes to get home, and then, like, it's not as fresh anymore. I'm just like, I'm just going to try eating it in my car, and I got used to it, and, like, I've gotten used to it. It's almost not even, like, drag to me anymore, I guess. In a way, I'm just kind of used to it, but then once they say, oh, you can eat inside now, I'll be like, all right, yeah, eat inside. Or something. And, like, there's a few restaurants here and there that's, like, you can like, eat inside, but it's like there's, like, tables blocked off or something. There's some restaurants where it's pretty normal, and you might just have to wear a mask when you go inside, and that's about it. And then, like, once you get to your table, you can take your mask off, and it's like you can sit at, like, any table. There's some restaurants, it's like, okay, this is pretty normal again. This is good. They just have, like, plastic, like, dividers up, and it's like, okay. And say sit wherever you like. Something. Because I went to this Mexican place that's really good recently, and it was, like, the same. They just had, like, the menu they had was just smaller than the old menu or whatever that they'd usually use. This is kind of a bad joke, but, I mean, this is called, I'm talking about the band Anthrax. You could say, I tested negative for coronavirus, but I tested positive for being an Anthrax fan. See what I did there? The band. I remember, like, when this thing first started, I was like, I don't know much about coronavirus because not many people did unless you're, like, a doctor or something, like Anthony Fauci or Deborah Birx or something who I think are doing a great job. And I know this might get a little criticism, but back in, like, March, when they were, like, first, like, figuring this stuff out, Deborah Birx, you can look this up online. She actually said, like, if they did things almost perfectly, they'd only have about 200,000 deaths. And up till sometime in October, that was about what we had. So, personally, I think Trump has done a great job. If you think he's done a terrible job, well, that's fine with me. If you think that, and if you are looking forward to Biden being president, I mean, that's fine with me. I mean, we can agree to disagree. It's like, if you like Biden, that's fine. Personally, I'm a Trump supporter. This might sound completely insane to almost anybody, but I actually think there's an extremely slim chance that Trump could actually remain president for another 4 years. Probably, some of you are probably going like, no! Or something, but I'm actually thinking, but I'm okay with that. If Biden becomes president, I'll be honest, I'm pretty nervous for this country. because I have a bad feeling. But if you have a good feeling, all right, maybe there's a chance things won't be as bad as I think. But I don't know. I just want what I believe is best for the country as a whole and the rest of the world. And I personally just feel that Trump's better, but for the country and the world. But if you feel that Biden's better, that's fine with me. We can agree to disagree. I don't want to get into an argument or nothing about politics or views or nothing. If you love Biden, that's fine. If you love Trump, that's fine. If you didn't even vote and you just think both of them are terrible, that's fine with me. I understand. I mean, like, if you voted for Kanye West, that's fine. If it would have came down to Kanye West versus Biden, I would have voted for Kanye West, hands down, to be honest. If there was some weird scenario, to be completely honest, because I like Kanye a bit. I agree with some of his views, although I don't know how he'd be as president, but I actually would prefer him over Biden. I trust him more, but if you trust Biden over Kanye because he's been in for politics more, that I totally understand. I mean, I understand, and I think we can agree to disagree. Yeah, so that's my Anthrax ranking, and yeah, For All Kings. I think the first full album I got from them, I think I picked up Persistence of Time first. And then after that, I started picking up like all the classic albums with Joey Belladonna. And then I eventually picked up, at some point, For All Kings. And then I picked up Fistful of Metal. And I have Fistful of Metal in my car right now. I was listening to it earlier today, if I'm remembering correctly. Sometimes like I get like super angry, and you could actually say like I'm metal thrashing mad. I guess you can say metal thrashing mad. I'm not sure if I can scream like Neil Turbin. He was the original vocalist on that album, the first album from 1984, and that's a good album in my opinion. I know like Scott Ian, he actually says like he can't listen to it or something these days, or for some reason he can't listen to it. And he actually doesn't like the cover they did of I'm 18. I actually like that cover. I think it sounds great. I love it. Every song on that album, good. Not one bad song. Same thing with everything else on every one of those albums with Joe Belladonna. It's just good thrash metal, good heavy metal, some hard rock. On a lot of these, there is at least one cover, and I think they do a great job with the covers. I'm not sure if I've heard the original of every one of them. You know, Alice Cooper was the one who originally did I'm 18. I think it was back in the 1970s. Yeah. Well, this video's actually gone on for almost 50 minutes. 48 minutes and 21 seconds and counting right now. I'm going to stop this video. Tell me what you think. Tell me your list of Anthrax albums, and please, if you feel free, if you'd like, comment, subscribe this video. I'd like to know, what do you think about Anthrax, the band? Yeah. Hopefully, pandemics will be totally done at some point, and we'll be back to some kind of new normal, and hopefully we won't have to be wearing masks anymore when we're going to stores and stuff, be able to eat inside, any place, and, like, I don't know, like, I'm wondering if, like, by some chance, maybe something like things they'll learn from this. I'm glad they're getting a vaccine out, thankfully. Although it doesn't look like everybody's going to be able to get it until, like, June of 2021, so might still be stuck in this, like a weird pause, like the Earth's on pause right now, sort of. In a way, I kind of thought that. Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll be back to some kind of new normal, and concerts will be going on again. I remember, like, I think Anthrax, they were supposed to play, like, somewhere. Oh, wait, no, I'm getting confused with Megadeth. Megadeth, we were supposed to play somewhere near where I am, in the States. They got canceled because of the coronavirus, as well as like some other bands that I wanted to see, and it was kind of like something. It's like, didn't see that coming. X Games, those got canceled. I actually had this weird feeling that X Games was actually going to get canceled in Minneapolis at some point. To be honest, I actually had this bad feeling, like, as of 2016. I didn't know if it was going to be 2017 or 18, then all of a sudden it wasn't then, and they renewed it for 2019 and 20, and then I knew it was going to be 2019 or 20, and I didn't. And then we got into 2020, things are looking fine, but then all of a sudden I'm hearing about the coronavirus and stuff, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I don't know, and then all of a sudden coronavirus became a global pandemic, and then all of a sudden it get canceled due to the coronavirus, and I'm like, that's it, that's why it's getting canceled. Something, and I'm like, I knew it was going to get canceled. I just knew it. I had this bad gut feeling. Basically, I heard like televangelist Jim Baker. He said something in 2016. He claimed to have gotten a word from God. He said, God just spoke to me and said, pray for Minneapolis. I don't know what that means. Pray for Minneapolis. Pray for Chicago. I don't know what that meant. But then all of a sudden, coronavirus came. X Games was announced they're canceled in Minneapolis, so I'm like, okay, then it's going to be financial. But then the George Floyd riots came, and I'm like, that's it. That's what God was telling me to pray for Minneapolis for. And then it's like chop zones all over the place, and crazy world we live in these days in 2020. Yeah. Yeah. Uncertainty with the election. It took them a while to get the results or something. I think it could get overturned. We'll see what happens. Hopefully 2021 will be a better year than 2020. Let's just say that. Hopefully bands will be back and everything. I don't know. I'm not going to count on it though. I hope that things will be back to some kind of new normal. Hopefully bands will be back playing live shows, and hopefully hope for the best outcome. I don't know, maybe if like someone's feeling sick, maybe they have to wear a mask or something when they're at the show or something the whole time or something. Maybe that's it. Maybe you have to get like a temperature check or something. I don't know. Maybe it's not total full capacity. Maybe instead of it being like 10,000 people, maybe it's like 5,000 or something. It's like, okay, well, at least you can see a live show. Yeah. Well, going on 53 minutes and counting. I'm going to click stop now. At 53